Deshaun Watson played in 3 series on Friday night in Jacksonville, 1 for 5 for 7 yards. Now, there were a couple of drops.
Yeah.
His first throw was like, who the hell was that to? But there were a couple of drops along the way. After the game, Kevin Stefanski said that he had some throws he'd like to have back, but he didn't have many throws. I mean, that's the thing. The thing I don't like about preseason, a guy never gets to play enough to really get into a rhythm.
Exactly.
To really get comfortable.
Should have catch this here, slant, Schwartz.
Yeah, make some adjustments based upon what the defense is doing. That's all. The preseason is false and fake in that regard. You never get a chance to develop within the course of a game.
No, exactly. It is hard. And again, it's your first time out in the field. Some of the Jacksonville guys got to play last week a little bit, so they're used to playing. The nerves are there. I don't care who you are. Again, don't over-evaluate it, right? Like we talk about, how did he look? How did he look as an athlete? Even that first throw he missed on the bootleg to the left. Man, I mean, the ball popped out of his hand. That was the first thing I went, whoa. That was like a vapor trail. And then, yes, he has the drop by Schwartz. He has another play right a little later. I think it was the second series where it ended up being a holding, but he scrambled to the right and made a really nice throw. I think it was 2nd and 17 or so, and the ball was dropped by Schwartz again. But, you saw Deshaun Watson's talent it's easy to see. It jumps off the screen. And that's for sure. And you're right, it wasn't perfect statistic-wise, but I don't get too involved in that for the reasons you said. It's a practice preseason game. Not all of it was his fault. I just look at the guy, look at the player, and how does he look? I know as this preseason and season goes on, he'll read a defense better and throw the ball a hair more accurate and won't be quite so nervous. Man, that was a big moment for him. I can't imagine how nervous he was going out there on the football field, and then let alone, like we've discussed a little, just the reaction he was getting in pregame warm-ups when he was going on the field. Man, there's a lot to deal with there mentally, and he's going to have to get used to that if he, wants to play football this year.
We'll talk about that in a moment. For now, let's hear from Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski regarding Deshaun Watson's performance and his pregame apology.
Yeah, I think he probably wants some throws back. Obviously, playing football for the first time in a while, I thought it was important for him to get out there with his teammates in this scheme, just hearing a different voice in the helmet, those type of things. So I'm sure he had the butterflies and the jitters early, but I think he understands there's work to do. I've been around Deshaun now for a few months, and I know he wants to grow. I know that he does, and that's personally, that's professionally. And I think he's very, very serious about doing that. And I think that's part of that next step for him.
Well, it's been part of that next step for a long, long time. And again, it's good that he's finally realizing he needs to apologize. If it's real, it's accepted, and we move forward. And look, he's still got one pending civil case. I mean, that's the danger of saying the things he said from a dollars and cents standpoint. It does make the expectation of the person who's still suing you go up when he's finally acknowledging that he did something that he shouldn't have done. But he's going to get to play some more in the preseason. The Browns accept the fact that week 1 isn't an issue. Remember that thing from a couple of weeks ago where people were suggesting they'd somehow play week 1? No, Jacoby Brissett's the starter week 1. Deshaun Watson's missing the first 6 games of the season. The question is, how many more after that will he miss? And they're going to actually back off on practice reps this week for Deshaun Watson, Chris. More for Jacoby Brissett, more for Josh Dobbs, because they recognize those are the guys who are going to be in position to be playing once the regular season gets started in Carolina in 27 days.
Yeah, that's the formula. They got to go with that. They got to get ready for week 1. That's the number one thing as far as what the Browns organization has to do. And now Deshaun Watson, he's going to take a back seat. He'll get to get some work after practice. That's where he's going to catch up, but he's going to get treated, as far as reps are concerned, kind of like a backup now, third stringer. And it'll be on him and the coaching staff to kind of just keep him, sharp as far as the offense, the language, the checks, and all of that. But he's got some good people around him. There's no doubt. Kevin Stefanski, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's a great coach. He's a good coach so far. He really is. But one thing I know about Kevin Stefanski, with knowing a lot of people around him, Alex Van Pelt, Brian Callahan, the offensive run game coach, the offensive line coach, they are good people. They are really good people. I've been around them, and I think that their good ways will rub off on Deshaun Watson, and hopefully they can show him the right leadership to where he can kind of change his life around as well.
Well, the question remains, how many weeks will they have to wait for him when the season begins? Will they have him at all this season? And what happens when he does play in a regular season game? Because there was a viral video, had over 3.3 million views as of last night, of a chant that seemed pretty loud coming from one of the end zones in Jacksonville, directed at Watson. And I think that's just a glimpse of what it's going to be like in Baltimore, in Pittsburgh.
Be worse there.
In Buffalo.
Right.
Right? It's going to be a lot worse in a regular season game with a full stadium, with some zealous fans who have every reason to look for anything they can to try to get under the skin of the opponent.
Help your team.
Here it is.
Right.
Here it is on a silver platter.
Yeah.
Anytime Deshaun Watson comes to town. And I don't think this goes away. I don't think this ever goes away.
Probably not.
This is one of the problems of fighting it tooth and nail for 17 months. This is so baked in to how people regard Deshaun Watson. I mean, really, it's like other names that you utter that are forever tainted. We could rattle off names of others that are forever tainted based upon issues like this. I don't think that ever goes away.
I hear you. It's gonna be a tough one.
As long as he plays football, he's going to be hearing it, Chris.
Yeah, 100%. He is, and we're going to see how mentally strong he is throughout this process. You're right. We've seen, I think even remember John Rocker back in the day, right? One of the best closers in baseball, said all those stupid racist things like an idiot, which he was. He was an idiot, but either way, he heard about it and he melted. He melted into the background. Never was the same guy, because every time he went on the field, it was just boo, you jerk, you jerk. And that's certainly something to watch here, just the psychology of all of it and how Deshaun Watson can handle that.
The 3-word chant that was used by Jaguars fans was jarring, and it's the kind of thing that is simple and easy to get a crowd to do. And once they start doing it, it's gonna take off. I think it's gonna be a thing. He's due to play Week 7 in Baltimore. I don't think he'll be there for that one. But if he plays at all this year, where the season ends. It ends Week 18 at Pittsburgh. Look, it's unavoidable at this point. Joel Bitonio talked about it yesterday, and he said, well, we always get booed on the road, but yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit more now, but it's just all the more reason it's Cleveland against the world. Well, as most people reacted when I tweeted his comments last night, they're rooting for the world in this one. That's the thing. This isn't exactly a sympathetic cause for the Browns to rally around. It's just an odd situation. And again, the Browns willingly, voluntarily welcome this. The balance of, we got a great quarterback, and he's going to lead us to great places, and there are going to be some drawbacks. One of the drawbacks beyond the length of the suspension is the fact that you're going to forever now have this element when you travel, and you're going to put your team, your players in a bad spot, that they have to say things like it's Cleveland against the world on an issue like this. This isn't just, we're not properly respected or nobody believes in us. It's us against the world. No, it's kind of like us against the world, because we're rallying around a guy that the rest of the world really, has no regard for right now. So it just makes an awkward situation even more awkward, Chris.
Yeah, it's awkward. It is. I got nothing more to say.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.